The Dhammapada, a revered Buddhist text of 423 verses, distills the Buddha's teachings into simple, direct wisdom for a life of virtue, mindfulness, and inner peace. Its insights into human nature and happiness remain strikingly relevant today. This modern reimagining translates these ancient verses into relatable language, offering practical guidance for contemporary life, aiming to connect you with the Buddha's core teachings without ancient complexities. This book encourages mindfulness in all aspects of life, helping you understand the self, embrace impermanence, and find true happiness rooted in inner clarity. It offers tools to overcome suffering and foster spiritual awakening, hoping to inspire peace, wisdom, and compassion in your journey. Chapter 1, Your Thoughts Are the Boss, the Pairs. Your thoughts come first, like the leader of a team. Everything starts with a thought. If you think grumpy, mean thoughts and then say or do things, unhappiness will follow you around, just like a cart follows the ox pulling it. But if you think kind, happy thoughts and then say or do things, happiness will stick with you, like your own shadow that never leaves. If someone is mean to you and you keep thinking, they yelled at me, they hit me, they took my stuff, you'll stay angry and upset. But if someone is mean and you can let go of those angry thoughts, your anger will calm down. Anger never stops anger. If someone's mad, being mad back only makes it worse. Only kindness and understanding can make anger go away. This is a super old rule that always works. Some people forget that we all have to say goodbye to life one day. But if you remember this, it helps you stop arguing and make peace. If you only live for fun things, don't watch your feelings, eat too much junk, and are lazy, bad habits can knock you over, like a storm knocks over a weak tree. Mara is like the name for these bad habits or temptations. But if you try to see things clearly, even the not-so-pretty parts of life, watch your feelings, eat healthy, and try your best, then bad habits can't beat you, just like a storm can't knock over a strong mountain. If someone pretends to be wise and good, like wearing a special robe, but is actually selfish and doesn't tell the truth, they're not really worthy of respect. But if someone has gotten rid of their mean habits, is full of goodness, controls their feelings, and tells the truth, they truly are worthy of respect. If you think unimportant things are super important and important things are not, you're mixed up and won't find what truly matters. But if you know what's really important and what's not, and you think good thoughts, you'll find what truly matters. If your mind is like a leaky roof, not well looked after, bad feelings, like wanting too much, can easily sneak in. But if your mind is like a strong roof, well looked after, bad feelings can't get in. Someone who does bad things feels sad now and will feel sad later. They feel bad remembering the mean things they did. Someone who does good things feels happy now and will feel happy later. They feel good remembering the kind things they did. The person who does bad things suffers now and later. Just thinking, oh no, I did a bad thing, makes them feel awful. And it's even worse if their actions lead to bad places. A person who does good things feels joyful now and later. Thinking, yay, I did a good thing, makes them happy, and it's even better when they reach happy places. If you talk a lot about good teachings, but don't actually do them, you're like a shepherd who counts someone else's sheep, but doesn't have any of their own. You don't get the good stuff from a holy life. But even if you only know a little of the good teachings, if you actually live by them, letting go of wanting too much, anger and confusion, with real wisdom and a free mind, not clinging to anything, then you really get the blessings of a good and holy life. Chapter 2. Pay attention. Heedfulness. Paying attention is the path to a life that's truly alive and doesn't end, the deathless or deep peace. Not paying attention is like being asleep, or like you're already gone. Those who pay attention don't really die in spirit. Wise people know how awesome it is to pay attention. They love it and feel at home with the ways of truly good and noble people. Wise people who keep meditating and trying hard are the ones who find nirvana, that amazing freedom from all worries and problems. If you're energetic, mindful, do good things, know what you're doing, control yourself, live right, and pay attention, your inner light will just keep growing. By trying hard, paying attention, being disciplined, and mastering yourself, a wise person can make a safe island for themselves that no flood of problems can overwhelm. Foolish and unthinking people don't bother to pay attention, but a wise person treasures paying attention like their best jewel. Don't be careless. Don't just chase after fun. Only those who pay attention and meditate find true great happiness. Imagine standing on a high mountain and looking down at the people below. That's like a wise person who has gotten rid of carelessness by being careful. They stand on a high tower of wisdom and look at all the sad and foolish people without feeling sad themselves. A wise person who pays attention among those who don't, who is wide awake among those who are sleepy, moves forward like a fast horse, leaving a tired one behind. Even Indra, a king of gods, became great by paying attention. Paying attention is always praised, and not paying attention is always looked down upon. A monk, or anyone serious about this path, who loves to pay attention and is a bit scared of being careless, moves forward like a fire, burning away all the things that tie them down, big or small. A monk who loves to pay attention and is wary of carelessness will not fall back. They are very close to Nibbana, that ultimate peace. Chapter 3. Your wobbly mind. Your mind can be wobbly and unsteady, hard to keep an eye on, but a smart person learns to straighten it out, like an archer straightens an arrow. Imagine a fish pulled out of water, flopping and gasping on the sand. That's how your mind feels when it's agitated. So it's good to leave behind the things that make your mind go wild, the realm of Mara or negativity. Well, it's amazing to tame the mind. It's so hard to control, so quick, and it grabs onto whatever it wants. A mind that's tamed brings happiness. A smart person should guard their mind. It's tricky to see, super subtle, and wants what it wants. A mind that's guarded brings happiness. Your mind lives inside you, like in a cave of your heart, has no shape, and can wander far all by itself. People who can tame this mind are freed from the traps of negativity, Mara. If your mind isn't steady, if you don't know the good teachings, or if your trust wobbles, your wisdom can't become perfect. But if you're awake, and your mind isn't soaked with desires or messed up by hate, and you've gone beyond thinking just about good and bad rewards, you have nothing to fear. Know that your body is as fragile as a clay pot. Make your mind strong like a well-protected city. Fight off negativity, Mara, with the sword of wisdom. Then keep guarding what you've won, without getting attached to it. Oh dear, before long, this body will just lie on the ground, ignored and lifeless, like a useless piece of wood. Whatever harm an enemy might do to another enemy, or a hater to another hater, a mind pointed in the wrong direction does much more harm to you. Not your mother, not your father, nor any other relative can do more good for you than your own mind when it's pointed in the right direction. Chapter 4. Like picking flowers. Who can understand this world? The world of challenges, Yama, king of death, and even the realms of gods and humans. Who can perfectly follow the path of wisdom, like an expert flower arranger makes a beautiful design? Someone who's truly trying on the path will understand this world. They will perfectly follow the path of wisdom, just like that expert flower arranger. Realize your body is like foam. See its mirage like nature. Break off negativity's Mara's flower-tipped arrows of desire, and go beyond the sight of the king of death. Like a big flood sweeps away a sleeping village. Death carries away the person with a distracted mind who was only busy picking the flowers of pleasure. The destroyer, death or negativity, gets control of the person who is distracted, can't get enough of sense pleasures, and only picks those flowers. A wise person, like a bee gathering honey from a flower without hurting its color or smell, moves through life or a village for a monk, taking what's needed without causing harm. Don't look for faults in others. Don't watch what they did or didn't do. Instead, look at your own actions, what you've done and what you still need to do. If someone says pretty words but doesn't live by them, they're like a beautiful flower with bright colors but no fragrance. Their words don't do much good. But if someone says fair words and also lives by them, they're like a beautiful flower that's colorful and fragrant. Their words are fruitful and good. Just like you can make many pretty garlands from a big pile of flowers, a person should do many good deeds in their life. The sweet smell of flowers, or even sandalwood or jasmine, can't travel against the wind. But the fragrance of a good, virtuous person blows everywhere, even against the wind. A good person's goodness truly spreads in all directions. Of all the nice smells, sandalwood, tagara, a fragrant powder, blue lotus, and jasmine, the fragrance of virtue, being good, is the sweetest. The smell of tagara and sandalwood is faint, but the amazing fragrance of a virtuous person is excellent, and it even wafts up to the gods. Negativity Mara can never find the path of truly good people who pay attention and are free because they have perfect knowledge. Imagine a beautiful, sweet-smelling lotus blooming on a heap of rubbish by the roadside. In the same way, even among people who are like that rubbish heap, blinded by ignorance, a disciple of the supremely awake one, the Buddha, shines brightly with wisdom. Chapter 5. The Unwise Person, the Fool. The night feels very long if you can't sleep. A journey feels very long if you're tired. Life in this world feels very long to foolish people who don't know the real truth. If you're looking for a friend on your spiritual path and can't find someone better than you, or at least your equal, then it's better to walk your path alone. There's no real friendship with a fool. A fool worries, I have kids, I have money, but really, if they don't even own themselves, their mind and actions, how can they truly have kids or money? A fool who knows they're being foolish is wise in a small way, but a fool who thinks they're wise is a really big fool. Even if a fool hangs out with a wise person their whole life, they won't understand the truth any more than a spoon can taste the soup it's in. But if a discerning person spends even a little time with a wise person, they quickly understand the truth, just like your tongue quickly tastes the soup. Fools with little common sense become their own enemies. They go around doing bad things, and the results are bitter. A bad action is one you feel sorry for later, and you end up crying when you face the consequences. A good action is one you don't regret later, and you feel happy and delighted with the results. As long as a bad deed hasn't ripened, shown its bad results, a fool might think it's sweet like honey. But when the bad deed finally ripens, the fool experiences a lot of pain. A fool might try to live very simply, eating food with just the tip of a grass blade, a sign of austerity. But they're still not worth even a tiny fraction of those who truly understand the truth. A bad deed doesn't instantly show its bad results, just like milk doesn't turn sour right away, but it smolders like a fire covered in ashes and follows the fool. When a fool gains knowledge, it often leads to their own ruin, because it can puff up their ego and destroy their natural goodness. The fool wants a good reputation they don't deserve, to be first among monks, to have power over monasteries, and to get praise from ordinary people. Let everyone, lay people and monks, think I did this. In every job, big or small, let them follow me. That's what the fool wants. This makes their desires and pride grow bigger. One path is chasing worldly stuff, and a completely different path leads to nibbana, true peace. A monk, a disciple of the Buddha, should understand this clearly. Don't get carried away by worldly praise. Instead, work on detachment. Chapter 6. The Wise Person. If you find someone who points out your mistakes and gently corrects you, follow that wise person like you'd follow a guide to a hidden treasure. It's always better, never worse, to be around someone like that. Let a wise person advise you, teach you, and protect you from doing wrong. Good people love such a person, while bad people can't stand them. Don't hang out with bad company. Don't seek friendship with people who are mean or low. Instead, make friends with good people. Seek out noble companions. Someone who deeply drinks in the Dhamma, the good teachings, lives happily with a calm mind. A wise person always loves the Dhamma taught by the noble one, the Buddha. Farmers guide water to their fields. Arrow makers straighten arrow shafts. Carpenters shape wood. Wise people control themselves. Just like a solid rock isn't shaken by a storm, wise people are not affected by praise or blame. When wise people hear the teachings, they become perfectly clear and pure, like a deep, calm, still lake. Good people let go of attachment to everything. Virtuous people don't chatter on, longing for pleasures. Wise people don't get overly excited or super sad when they experience happiness or sorrow. A person is truly good, wise, and righteous if they don't do wrong for their own sake or for anyone else's. They don't crave for kids, money, or power, and they don't want success through unfair ways. Only a few people manage to cross over to the farther shore of enlightenment. Most people just run up and down on this side, stuck in worldly life. But those who live according to the perfectly taught Dhamma will cross over the realm of death, suffering, which is so hard to cross. Let the wise person leave the dark path and follow the bright path. After leaving home for a homeless life, like a monk, let them seek joy in detachment, which is hard to find, giving up fleeting pleasures with no attachments. Let the wise person clean their mind of negativity, those whose minds have become perfectly developed in the ways of enlightenment, who have given up wanting to grab things, and who enjoy not clinging. They are free from inner cankers, deep-seated defilements, shine with wisdom, and have reached Nibbana, true peace, in this very life. Chapter 7. The truly free person, the Arahant, the perfected one. For someone who has finished their journey, who is free from sadness, completely liberated, and has broken all ties, the fever of wanting things doesn't exist anymore. Mindful people keep trying. They're not attached to any one home, like swans leaving a lake. They leave behind one place after another, not clinging. Those who don't hoard things, who are wise about what they need, like food, and whose goal is the void, emptiness of ego, and unconditioned freedom, their path can't be traced, like you can't see the path of birds in the air. A person whose inner cankers, deep-seated bad habits are gone, who isn't attached to food, and whose goal is that void and unconditioned freedom, their path is untraceable, like birds in the sky. Even the gods admire a wise person whose senses are as well-behaved as well-trained horses, whose pride is gone, and who is free from those cankers. For a wise person who is like the earth, doesn't get upset by anything, who is as firm as a strong pillar and as pure as a deep pool of water without mud, there's no more worldly life, no more being reborn into suffering. Their thoughts are calm, their words are calm, and their actions are calm. This person who truly knows is completely free, perfectly peaceful, and wise. A person who doesn't just believe blindly, who knows the uncreated, Nibbana, beyond making, who has cut all links, destroyed all causes for more trouble, karma, and thrown out all desires, that person is truly the best of all people. Any place where these truly free people, Arahants, live, whether it's a village, a forest, a valley, or a hill, is an inspiring place. The forests where ordinary people find no fun are inspiring. There, those who are free from passion will feel joy because they're not looking for fleeting pleasures. Chapter 8. The Power of One Good Thing. The Thousands. One useful word that brings peace when you hear it is better than 1,000 useless words. One useful verse, a wise saying, that brings peace when you hear it is better than 1,000 useless verses. Reciting one verse of Dhamma, truth, that brings peace when you hear it, is better than reciting 100 verses that don't mean much. You might win a battle against 1,000 men 1,000 times, but the noblest winner is the one who conquers themselves. Winning against yourself is much better than winning against others. Not even a god, an angel, Mara, negativity, or Brahma, a high god, can turn the victory of a self-controlled, well-behaved person into a defeat. Even if you offer thousands of sacrifices every month for 100 years, if you just for a moment honor someone with a perfected mind, that honor is better than a whole century of sacrifices. Even if you tend a special fire in the forest for 100 years, an old ritual, If you just for a moment honor someone with a perfected mind, that honor is better. Whatever gifts someone seeking good karma might offer for a whole year, all of that isn't worth even a quarter of the good karma gained by respecting truly upright people. That is truly excellent. If you always respect and serve your elders, you get 4 blessings: long life, beauty, happiness, and strength. It's better to live one single day being good and meditative than to live 100 years being immoral and out of control. It's better to live one single day being wise and meditative than to live 100 years being foolish and out of control. It's better to live one single day being strong and determined than to live 100 years being lazy and wishy-washy. It's better to live one single day seeing how things arise and pass away than to live 100 years without ever seeing that. It's better to live one single day seeing the deathless, nibbana, true peace, than to live 100 years without ever seeing it. It's better to live one single day seeing the highest truth than to live 100 years without ever seeing it. Chapter 9. Dealing with bad stuff. Evil. Hurry up to do good things. Stop your mind from doing bad things. If you're slow to do good, your mind starts to enjoy doing bad. If someone does something bad, they shouldn't do it again and again. They shouldn't find any fun in it because collecting bad deeds is painful. If someone does something good, they should do it again and again. They should find joy in it because collecting good deeds is blissful. Someone doing bad things might feel okay as long as the bad results haven't shown up yet. But when they do show up, then the bad doer sees the painful results of their actions. Someone doing good things might have a hard time for a while as long as the good results haven't shown up. But when they do, then the good doer sees the pleasant results of their actions. Don't think lightly of bad stuff, saying, "It won't affect me." A water pot gets filled drop by drop. In the same way, a foolish person, by collecting badness little by little, fills themselves with it. Don't think lightly of good stuff, saying, "It won't affect me." A water pot gets filled drop by drop. In the same way, a wise person, by collecting goodness little by little, fills themselves with it. Just like a trader with few guards but lots of treasure would avoid a dangerous road, or like someone who wants to live would avoid poison, you should stay away from bad things. If you have no wound on your hand, you can even carry poison in it without harm. Poison doesn't affect someone without wounds. For someone who does no evil, there is no ill. If a fool offends someone who is innocent, pure, and blameless, that evil act bounces back onto the fool, like fine dust thrown against the wind. Some people are reborn as humans. Wicked people are reborn in bad places, hell. Good people go to good places, heaven. And those who are stainless, perfectly pure, reach nirvana. Not in the sky, not in the middle of the ocean, not by hiding in a mountain cave. Nowhere in the world is there a place where you can escape the results of your bad deeds. Not in the sky, not in the middle of the ocean, not by hiding in a mountain cave. Nowhere in the world is there a place where you won't eventually be overcome by death. Chapter 10. Stop the hurting. Violence. Everyone trembles when faced with violence. Everyone fears death. Put yourself in another's place. You shouldn't hurt or kill or cause others to hurt or kill. Everyone trembles when faced with violence. Life is dear to everyone. Put yourself in another's place. You shouldn't hurt or kill, or cause others to hurt or kill. If you want happiness for yourself, but you hurt other beings who also want happiness, you won't find happiness in your next life. If you want happiness for yourself, and you don't hurt other beings who also want happiness, you will find happiness in your next life. Don't speak harshly to anyone. If you do, they might speak harshly back. Angry words hurt, and you might get retaliation. If you can silence yourself, like a broken gong that makes no sound, you have come close to nibbana, because wanting revenge is no longer in you. Just as a cowherd uses a stick to guide cattle to the pasture, old age and death push the life force of beings from one existence to another. When a fool does bad things, they don't realize how bad their actions are. The foolish person is tormented by their own deeds, like someone being burned by fire. If someone hurts those who are unarmed or offends those who are innocent, they will soon experience one of these 10 bad things: sharp pain, a disaster, a physical injury, serious sickness, mental breakdown, trouble with the government, serious accusations, losing relatives, losing wealth, or having their house burned down. And when their body dies, that ignorant person is born in a terrible place, hell. Just going around naked, having matted hair, being dirty, fasting, lying on the ground, smearing yourself with ashes, or sitting on your heels, as some ascetics did, can't purify a person who still has doubts in their mind. Even if someone is well-dressed, if they are calm, controlled, established in a holy life, and have stopped being violent towards all beings, that person is truly a holy man, a renunciate, a monk. It's rare to find a person in this world who, held back by their own sense of shame, avoids doing wrong, like a good horse avoids the whip. Be like a thoroughbred horse that's touched by a whip. Be energetic. Be filled with a longing for spiritual growth. Through faith, good morals, effort, meditation, understanding the truth, having lots of knowledge and virtue, and by being mindful, destroy this endless suffering. Irrigadores controlan agua, las cerraduras lo envierte el sal, los contaderos controlan ellos mismos. Chapter 11, Getting Older. When this world is always on fire with suffering and change, why are you laughing? Why are you celebrating? You're covered in darkness. Won't you look for the light? Look at this body. It's like a painted picture, a pile of sores, weak, full of desires, and nothing about it lasts or is stable. This body is completely worn out, a nest of sickness and fragile. This yucky mass breaks up because death is the end of life. These dove-colored bones, after death, are like dried gourds scattered in autumn. Seeing them, how can anyone still want worldly delights? This city, your body, is built of bones plastered with flesh and blood. Inside are decay and death, pride and jealousy. Even fancy royal chariots wear out. And yes, this body also wears out. But the Dhamma, the truth of the good people, doesn't get old. So the good share it with other good people. A person with little learning grows old like a bull. They only get bigger in size, but their wisdom doesn't grow. I've wandered through so many lives in this cycle of rebirth, samsara, looking in vain for the builder of this house of suffering life. Being born again and again is truly suffering. The Buddha says after enlightenment, "Oh, house builder, craving the desire that builds lives, I see you. You won't build this house again. Your rafters, passions, are broken, and your main beam, ignorance, is shattered. My mind has reached the unconditioned, nirvana. I've destroyed all craving." People who didn't live a good, holy life when they were young or didn't gain wisdom, wealth of the spirit, just waste away like old cranes in a pond with no fish. People who didn't live a good, holy life when they were young or didn't gain wisdom lie around sighing about the past, like worn-out arrows that have already been shot from a bow. Chapter 12. You and Yourself, the Self. If you care about yourself, you should watch yourself carefully. A wise person should stay alert and aware, like a guard on duty through the night or through the stages of life. First, you should get yourself straight and do what's right. Then you can teach others. If you do this, a wise person won't be criticized. You should practice what you preach. If you want to help others get themselves together, you need to be well-controlled yourself. Self-control is really hard, but very important. You are truly your own protector. Who else could really protect you? When you have full control over yourself, you gain a kind of mastery that's hard to achieve. The bad things a foolish person does, which come from their own self and are created by their own self, end up grinding them down like a diamond grinds a hard gem. Just like a creeping vine can strangle the tree it grows on. A person who is extremely corrupt harms themselves as badly as an enemy would wish. It's easy to do things that are bad and harmful to yourself, but it's extremely difficult to do things that are good and beneficial. Anyone who, because of wrong ideas, looks down on the teachings of the perfected ones, like Buddha and other noble, righteous people, that fool, like a bamboo plant that produces fruit only to die, brings about their own destruction. You do bad things by yourself. You get defiled by yourself. You leave bad things undone by yourself. You become pure by yourself. Purity and impurity depend on you. No one else can make you pure. Don't neglect your own well-being for someone else's, no matter how important they seem. Clearly understand what's good for you, and be determined to achieve that good. Chapter 13, The World We Live In. Don't follow the common, unthinking way of life. Don't live carelessly. Don't hold on to wrong ideas. Don't get stuck too long in worldly existence. Wake up. Don't be careless. Live a good and righteous life. People who live righteously are happy in this world and in the next. Live a righteous life. Don't live a low or base life. Righteous people are happy in this world and in the next. If you see the world as being like a bubble or a mirage, empty and fleeting, then the king of death or suffering won't see you. Come on, look at this world. It's like a fancy decorated royal chariot. Fools get caught up in it and flounder, but wise people have no attachment to it. Someone who used to be careless but isn't careless anymore brightens up this world like the moon when it's freed from clouds. Someone who, by doing good deeds, covers up the bad things they've done in the past, brightens up this world like the moon freed from clouds. The world is blind. Only a few people here have real insight. Only a few, like birds escaping from a net, go to happy, blissful places. Swans can fly on the path of the sun. People with special mental powers can travel through the air. Wise people are led away from this world after conquering negativity, Mara, and its forces. For a liar who has broken the one law of truthfulness and who scoffs at the idea of a life after this one, there's no evil they can't do. Truly, stingy people don't go to heavenly places, and fools don't praise generosity. But a wise person enjoys giving, and because of that alone, they become happy in the future. Being the king of the whole earth, or going to heaven, or even being the Lord of all worlds, none of. That is as good as the first step on the spiritual path, stream entrance, which is a taste of true, beyond this world happiness. Chapter 14, The Awakened One, the Buddha. The Buddha is trackless. His range of wisdom is limitless. His victory over negativity can't be undone. None of the defeated bad qualities can ever chase him again. How could you possibly trace or fully understand someone like that? The Buddha is trackless. His range of wisdom is limitless. In him, there's no longer that tangling, confusing craving that keeps life going in circles. How could you trace him? Those wise people who are devoted to meditation and who love the calm of letting go. Even the gods hold such mindful, supreme Buddhas dear. It's hard to be born as a human. Life for mortals is hard. It's hard to get the chance to hear the amazing truth, and it's rare for Buddhas, awakened ones, to appear in the world. To avoid all bad things, to do good things, and to clean your own mind. This is the teaching of all the Buddhas. Enduring patience is the best kind of self-discipline. Nirvana, true peace, is supreme, say the Buddhas. Someone who harms others is not a true monk. Someone who oppresses others is not a true renunciate. Not looking down on others, not harming, following the rules for a good life, like monastic rules, eating moderately, living in quiet places, and being devoted to meditation. This is the teaching of the Buddhas. You can't satisfy worldly desires, even if it rained gold coins. Worldly pleasures give little satisfaction and a lot of pain. Understanding this, a wise person finds no joy even in heavenly pleasures. A disciple of the Supreme Buddha finds joy in getting rid of all craving. People, driven only by fear, often look for safety in many places: hills, woods, groves, trees, and shrines. But those things are not truly safe refuges. They are not the best refuge. By going to such places, you are not freed from all suffering. But someone who takes refuge in the Buddha, the Dhamma, teachings, and the Sangha, community of practitioners, understands with deep wisdom the four noble truths: suffering, the end of suffering, and the noble eightfold path that leads to the end of suffering. This, the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, truly is the safe refuge. This is the supreme refuge. By going to such a refuge, one is released from all suffering. It's hard to find a truly thoroughbred person like the Buddha. They are not born everywhere, but where such a wise person is born, that family or community thrives happily. Blessed is the birth of Buddhas. Blessed is the sharing of the sacred teachings. Blessed is the harmony in the Sangha, community. And blessed is the spiritual journey of those who seek truth together. If you respect those who are worthy of respect, the Buddhas and their disciples who have overcome all obstacles and gone beyond sorrow and crying, if you respect such peaceful and fearless ones, the good you gain is so much it can't be measured. Chapter 15. Finding Happiness. Oh, we live happily indeed, being friendly even when others are hostile. Among hostile people, we live free from hatred. Oh, we live happily indeed, being peaceful even when others are troubled by craving. Among troubled people, we live free from that affliction. Oh, we live happily indeed, being free from greed even when others are greedy. Among greedy people, we live free from greed. Oh, we live happily indeed, when we have nothing materially, we shall feed on joy like the shining radiant gods. Winning creates enemies. The loser lives in pain. The peaceful live happily, having given up both winning and losing. There's no fire like lust, and no crime like hatred. There's no suffering like just existing as a collection of parts, our body and mind, and no happiness greater than the peace of nirvana. Hunger is the worst sickness. Conditioned things, everything that changes, are the worst suffering. Knowing this for what it truly is, wise people realize nirvana, the highest happiness. Good health is the most precious gain, and contentment is the greatest wealth. A trustworthy person is the best relative, and nirvana is the highest bliss. After tasting the peace of solitude and the calm of nirvana, a person becomes free from pain and stains, negativity, drinking deeply the sweet taste of the truth's happiness. It's good to see noble ones, enlightened people. To live with them is always blissful. You'll always be happy if you don't hang around with fools. Indeed, someone who hangs out with fools will grieve for a long time. Being with fools is always painful, like being with an enemy. But being with wise people is happy, like meeting your own family. Therefore, follow the noble one, who is steady, wise, learned, dutiful, and devout. You should only follow such a person, who is truly good and understanding, just as the moon follows the path of the stars. Chapter 16. Feelings of liking and loving. Affection. If you give yourself to things you should avoid and don't try hard where effort is needed, and you're just seeking pleasures after giving up what's truly good for you, you'll end up envying those who are focused on their own true well-being. Don't get too close to what you love, and also not to what you don't love. Not seeing what you love is painful, and seeing what you don't love is also painful. Therefore, don't hold anything too dear, because being separated from what's dear is painful. There are no ties for those who have nothing they consider beloved or unloved. From strong liking comes sadness. From strong liking comes fear. For someone who is completely free from strong liking, there is no sadness. So how could there be fear? From affection comes sadness. From affection comes fear. For someone who is completely free from affection, there is no sadness. So how could there be fear? From attachment comes sadness. From attachment comes fear. For someone who is completely free from attachment, there is no sadness. So how could there be fear? From lust, intense desire, comes sadness. From lust comes fear. For someone who is completely free from craving, there is no sadness. So how could there be fear? From craving, wanting comes sadness. From craving comes fear. For someone who is completely free from craving, there is no sadness. So how could there be fear? People hold dear the person who is virtuous and has insight, who lives by good principles, has understood the truth, and does what they should be doing. Someone who is focused on the ineffable, nirvana, something beyond words, whose mind is inspired by deep wisdom, and who is no longer tied down by sense pleasures. Such a person is called one bound upstream, on a sure path to full enlightenment like a non-returner. When, after a long time away, a person safely returns from far off, their relatives, friends, and well-wishers welcome them home when they arrive. Just like family welcomes a dear one when they arrive, your own good deeds will welcome you, the doer of good, when you pass from this world to the next. Chapter 17, Dealing with Anger. You should give up anger, let go of pride, and get over all the things that tie you down, fetters. Suffering never happens to the person who doesn't cling to their mind and body and is detached. The person who can stop rising anger, like a chariot driver stops a rolling chariot, that's who I call a true chariot driver. Others are just holding the reins. Overcome angry people by not being angry. Overcome wicked people with goodness. Overcome stingy people with generosity. Overcome liars with truth. Speak the truth. Don't give in to anger. When asked, give even if you only have a little. By these 3 ways, you can get closer to the presence of the gods or a heavenly state. Those wise people who are harmless and always restrained in their body go to the deathless state, nirvana. Once they've gone there, they grieve no more. For those who are always watchful, who train themselves day and night and are always aiming for nirvana, their inner stains, defilements fade away. Oh, Atula, a name. This is an old practice, not just from today. People blame those who stay silent. They blame those who talk a lot. And they blame those who talk in moderation. There's no one in the world who isn't blamed for something by someone. There never was, there never will be, nor is there now, a person who is only blamed or only praised by everyone. But the person whom wise people praise after watching them day after day is someone with a flawless character, who is wise and full of knowledge and virtue. Who can blame someone like that, who is as worthy as a coin of pure gold? Even the gods praise them. Even Brahma, a high god, praises them. A person should guard themselves against getting irritated in their actions. They should be controlled in what they do. Stop doing bad things with your body and practice good conduct with your body. A person should guard themselves against getting irritated in their speech. They should be controlled in what they say. Stop bad conduct in speech and practice good conduct in speech. A person should guard themselves against getting irritated in their thoughts. They should be controlled in their mind. Stop bad conduct in thought and practice good conduct in thought. Wise people are controlled in what they do with their body, controlled in their speech, and controlled in their thoughts. They are truly well controlled. Chapter 18. Inner Dirt, Impurity. You are now like a withered leaf. Death's messengers are waiting for you. You're about to depart, yet you haven't packed any supplies for your journey. Make an island for yourself, a place of safety within. Try hard and become wise. Get rid of your inner dirt and stains. Then you'll enter the heavenly place of the noble ones. Your life is coming to an end now. You're heading towards Yama, the king of death. There's no resting spot for you on the way, and you still haven't packed any supplies for the journey. Make an island for yourself. Try hard and become wise. Get rid of your inner dirt and stains, and you won't have to be born and get old and sick again. One by one, little by little, moment by moment, a wise person should remove their own impurities, just like a silversmith removes the dross, impurities, from silver to make it pure. Just as rust that comes from iron eats away the iron itself, a person's own bad deeds lead them to sad and woeful states. Not repeating and reviewing scriptures is their downfall. Neglect is the downfall of a home. Slovenliness, being messy, is the downfall of personal appearance. And carelessness is the downfall of a guard. Unchastity, not being faithful or pure in relationships, is a stain in a woman. Stinginess is a stain in a giver. Indeed, all bad things are stains, both in this world and the next. But there's a worse stain than all of these. Ignorance. It's the worst of all stains. Get rid of this one stain, O monks and everyone, and become stainless, pure. Life is easy for a shameless person who is bold like a crow, who backbites, pushes forward, is arrogant and corrupt. Life is difficult for a modest person who always tries to be pure, is detached, unassuming, clean in their life, and discerning. able to see clearly. Someone who destroys life, tells lies, takes what isn't given, goes after another person's spouse, and is addicted to intoxicating drinks. Such a person digs up their own roots even in this world. This means they destroy their own well-being. Know this, O good person. Bad things are hard to control. Don't let greed and wickedness drag you into long-lasting misery. People give things according to their faith or how much they like someone. If you become unhappy with the food and drink given by others, you won't achieve deep meditative states, either by day or by night. But the person in whom this unhappiness, discontent is completely destroyed, uprooted, and gone, they can achieve deep meditative states, both by day and by night. There's no fire like lust. There's no grip like hatred. There's no net like delusion, confusion. There's no river like craving, intense wanting. It's easy to see other people's faults, but your own fault is hard to see. You might pick apart someone else's faults like separating chaff from grain, but you hide your own, like a crafty bird hunter hides behind fake branches. Someone who is always looking for others' faults, who is always critical, their inner cankers, deep-seated defilements grow. They are far from getting rid of those cankers. There's no track of enlightenment in the sky, and no true holy person, recluse, outside the Buddha's way of teaching. Humankind loves worldly things, but the Buddhas are free from worldliness. There's no track of enlightenment in the sky, and no true holy person outside the Buddha's way. There are no conditioned things, things that change and depend on other things, that last forever. And there's no instability or changeableness in the Buddhas, in their enlightened nature. Chapter 19, Being Fair and True, the Just. A person doesn't become just or fair just by making quick, arbitrary judgments. A wise person is someone who carefully looks into both what's right and what's wrong. Someone who doesn't judge others randomly, but makes judgments fairly according to the truth. That thoughtful person is a guardian of the law and is called just. You're not wise just because you talk a lot. Someone who is peaceful, friendly, and fearless is called wise. A person isn't deeply knowledgeable in the Dhamma, truth, just because they talk a lot about it. Someone who, after hearing even a little of the Dhamma, understands its truth directly and doesn't neglect it. That person is truly knowledgeable in the Dhamma. A monk isn't an elder, a respected senior, just because their hair is gray. They might just be old in age, and then they're called one grown old for nothing. It's someone in whom there's truthfulness, virtue, harmlessness, self-control, and mastery over themselves, who is free from inner stains, defilements, and is wise. That person is truly called an elder. A person doesn't become truly accomplished just by speaking beautifully or looking good if they are jealous, selfish, and deceitful. But the person in whom these bad qualities are completely destroyed, uprooted, and gone, and who has gotten rid of hatred, that wise person is truly accomplished. Just shaving your head doesn't make an undisciplined and untruthful person a monk. How can someone full of desire and greed be a real monk? The person who completely overcomes all evil, both small and great, is called a monk because they have overcome all evil. A person isn't a monk just because they live on alms, donations from others. Just adopting the outward look doesn't make someone a true monk. Whoever, in this way of life, the dispensation, lives a holy life, going beyond both good karma points and bad karma points, and walks with understanding in this world, that person is truly called a monk. A person doesn't become a sage, a wise person, just by observing silence if they are foolish and ignorant. But the person who is wise, who like holding a balancing scale, accepts only what is good. That sage, by rejecting evil, is truly a sage. Since they understand both this world, present, and future worlds, they are called a sage. A person isn't noble if they hurt living beings. They are called noble because they are harmless towards all living beings. Not just by following rules and observances, not even by learning a lot, or by achieving deep meditative states, or by living a secluded life, or by thinking, I'm enjoying a bliss of letting go that ordinary people don't experience. You monks and everyone on this path shouldn't rest content with these things until you have completely destroyed all inner cankers, defilements, and reached arahantship, full enlightenment. Chapter 20. The way to go, the path. Of all the paths, the Eightfold Path is the best. Of all the truths, the Four Noble Truths are the best. Of all things, being free from passion is the best. Of all people, the Seeing One, the Buddha, is the best. This is the only path. There is no other for purifying your insight. Follow this path and you will confuse Mara, negativity. Walking on this path, you will put an end to suffering. I, Buddha, make known this path, having discovered how to pull out the thorn of lust, craving. You yourselves must try hard. The Buddhas only point the way. Those who meditate and walk this path are released from the traps of Mara. All conditioned things, everything that changes, are impermanent, don't last. When you see this with wisdom, you turn away from suffering. This is the path to purification. All conditioned things are unsatisfactory, can't bring lasting happiness. When you see this with wisdom, you turn away from suffering. This is the path to purification. All things are not self, have no permanent independent soul. When you see this with wisdom, you turn away from suffering. This is the path to purification. A lazy person who doesn't try when they should, who even though young and strong, is full of laziness and has a mind full of useless thoughts. Such an idle person does not find the path to wisdom. Let a person be careful with their speech, well controlled in their mind, and not do evil with their body. Let them purify these three ways of acting, and they will win the path shown by the great sage, Buddha. Wisdom comes from meditation. Without meditation, wisdom fades. Knowing these two paths of progress and decline, let a person live in such a way that their wisdom can increase. Cut down the forest of lust craving, but not the actual tree, your body. Fear springs from this forest. Having cut down both the forest, major cravings, and the underbrush, smaller desires, be passionless, O monks. As long as even the smallest bit of a man's desire towards a woman or any strong attachment is not cut down, his mind is in bondage, like a sucking calf is tied to its mother. Cut off your affection like a person plucks an autumn lotus with their hand. Cultivate only the path to peace, nirvana, as shown by the Exalted One, Buddha. Here I'll live during the rainy season, here in winter and summer. That's what the fool thinks. They don't realize the danger that death could come at any time. Just as a great flood carries away a sleeping village, death grabs and carries away the person with a clinging mind who is doting on their children and possessions. If someone attacked by death, there's no protection from relatives. No one can save them. Not sons, not a father, not other family members. Understanding this fact, let the wise person, restrained by morality, hurry to clear the path leading to nirvana. Chapter 21. Bits and Pieces, Miscellaneous. If by giving up a smaller happiness you can find a greater happiness, a wise person should give up the lesser, keeping in mind the greater. Someone tangled in the bonds of hatred, who seeks their own happiness by causing pain to others, is never freed from hatred. The inner cankers, defilements, only increase for those who are arrogant and careless, who leave undone what should be done and do what should not be done. The cankers stop for those mindful and clearly understanding people who always earnestly practice mindfulness of the body, who don't do what shouldn't be done, and steadily do what should be done. Having slain Mother Craving, Father Self-Conceit, two warrior kings, extreme views like everything is permanent or nothing matters, and destroyed a country, sense organs and objects, along with its treasurer, attachment and lust, the holy person goes on without grieving. These are metaphors for overcoming inner obstacles. Having slain Mother, Father, two Brahmin kings, two other extreme views, and a tiger as the fifth, the five mental hindrances like doubt, restlessness, etc. The holy person goes on without grieving. Those disciples of Gautama, Buddha, always awaken happily, who day and night constantly remember the good qualities of the Buddha. Those disciples of Gautama always awaken happily, who, day and night, constantly remember the good qualities of the Dhamma. Teachings. Those disciples of Gautama always awaken happily, who day and night constantly remember the good qualities of the Sangha, community. Those disciples of Gautama always awaken happily, who, day and night, constantly practice mindfulness of the body. Those disciples of Gautama always awaken happily, whose minds by day and night delight in the practice of nonviolence. Those disciples of Gautama always awaken happily, whose minds by day and night delight in the practice of meditation. Life as a monk is difficult. It's difficult to find joy in it. Household life is also difficult and sorrowful. Suffering comes from being with people who aren't a good match for you. Suffering comes from wandering in the cycle of rebirth, samsara. Therefore, don't be an aimless wanderer. Don't be a pursuer of suffering. Someone who is full of faith and virtue and has a good reputation and wealth, spiritual wealth. They are respected everywhere, in whatever land they travel. Good people shine from afar, like the Himalaya mountains, but wicked people are unseen, like arrows shot in the night. Someone who sits alone, sleeps alone, and walks alone, who is energetic and tames themselves alone, will find delight in the solitude of the forest. Chapter 22, Sad Places, the State of Woe. A liar goes to a sad state of woe or hell. So does someone who, after doing something wrong, says, "I didn't do it." People who do base, bad actions, both of them, share the same unhappy destiny in the next world when they pass away. There are many people with evil characters and no self-control who wear the saffron robe of a monk. These wicked people will be born in sad states because of their evil deeds. It would be better to swallow a red-hot iron ball, blazing like fire, than for an immoral and uncontrolled monk to eat the alms, food offerings of the people. 4 bad things happen to a reckless man who gets involved with another man's wife. He gains demerit, bad karma, has disturbed sleep, gets a bad reputation, and is reborn in states of woe. Such a man gains demerit and an unhappy future life. The pleasure for the frightened man and woman is brief, and the king or society gives heavy punishment. So no man should get involved with another's wife. Just as kusa grass, a sharp grass, cuts your hand if you handle it wrongly, a recluse's monk's life, if lived wrongly, drags you down to sad states. Any loose action, any corrupt practice, any life of questionable celibacy, purity, none of these bring much good fruit. If something needs to be done, do it with sustained energy. A lazy, lax monastic life just stirs up the dust of passions even more. An evil deed is better left undone, because such a deed will torment you afterwards. But a good deed is better done, because doing it brings no regrets later. Just as a border city is closely guarded both inside and out, you too should guard yourself. Don't let this opportunity for spiritual growth slip away. Those who let this opportunity slip will indeed grieve when they end up in hell. Those who are ashamed of what they shouldn't be ashamed of, and are not ashamed of what they should be ashamed of, by holding on to false views, they go to sad states. Those who see something to fear where there's nothing to fear, and see nothing to fear where there is something to fear, by holding on to false views, they go to sad states. Those who imagine evil where there is none, and don't see evil where it is, by holding on to false views, they go to sad states. Those who understand what's wrong as wrong and what's right as right, by holding on to right views, they go to realms of bliss. Chapter 23. The Gentle Giant, the Elephant. Just as an elephant in a battlefield withstands arrows shot from bows all around, I too shall endure abuse. Indeed, there are many people who lack virtue. A tamed elephant is led into a crowd, and the king rides a tamed elephant. The best among people is the subdued one who endures abuse. Well-trained mules are excellent, and so are thoroughbred Sindhu horses and noble-tusked elephants. But even better is the person who has tamed themselves. However, you wouldn't get to the untrodden land, nirvana, true peace, by riding these mounts. But someone who is self-tamed goes there by their own tamed and well-controlled mind. The tusked elephant, named Dhammapada, when in rut, a state of agitation, is uncontrollable. When held in captivity, the tusker doesn't eat, but only longingly remembers the elephant forest. When a person is sluggish and gluttonous, sweeping and rolling around in bed like a fat pig, that lazy person is reborn again and again. In the past, this mind wandered about wherever it liked, whatever it wished, according to its pleasure. But now, I, Buddha, or a dedicated practitioner, will thoroughly master it with wisdom, just as a mahout elephant trainer controls an elephant in rut with his hook, Ankus. Delight in paying attention. Guard your thoughts well. Pull yourself out of this bog of evil, just as an elephant pulls itself out of the mud. If you find a wise and sensible friend for company who leads a good life, you should, overcoming all obstacles, keep their company joyously and mindfully. If you cannot find a wise and sensible friend for company who leads a good life, then, like a king who leaves behind a conquered kingdom, or like a lone elephant in the elephant forest, you should go your way alone. It's better to live alone. There's no real fellowship with a fool. Live alone and do no evil. Be carefree like an elephant in the elephant forest. Friends are good when you need them. Contentment with just what you have is good. Merit, good karma, is good when life is at an end. And abandoning all suffering through arahantship, full enlightenment, is good. In this world, it's good to serve your mother. It's good to serve your father. It's good to serve the monks. And it's good to serve holy people. Virtue, good conduct, es bueno hasta el fin de la vida. Ganar conocimiento es bueno, y imitar la paz es bueno. Chapter 24. That nagging want, craving. The craving of someone who lives carelessly grows like a creeping vine. Like a monkey looking for fruit in the forest, they jump from one life to another, tasting the fruit of their karma. Whoever is overcome by this awful, sticky craving, their sorrows grow like grass after the rains. But whoever overcomes this awful craving, which is so hard to overcome, sorrows fall away from them like water from a lotus leaf. This I say to you all, good luck to everyone gathered here. Dig up the root of craving, like someone looking for the fragrant root of Brahmana grass. Don't let Mara, negativity, crush you again and again, like a flood crushes a reed. Just as a tree, even if cut down, sprouts up again if its roots are still there and strong. In the same way, until the craving that lies hidden is rooted out, suffering springs up again and again. The misguided person in whom the 36 currents of craving, many kinds of desires, rush strongly towards pleasurable things, is swept away by the flood of their passionate thoughts. Everywhere these currents of craving flow, and the creeper of craving sprouts and grows, seeing that this creeper has sprung up, cut off its root with wisdom. Feelings of pleasure arise in beings, flowing in from all objects and watered by craving. Bent on pleasures and seeking enjoyment, these people fall prey to birth and decay. Bothered by craving, people run about like a trapped hare. Held fast by many chains, they come to suffering again and again for a long time. Bothered by craving, people run about like a trapped hare. Therefore, someone who longs to be free from passion should destroy their own craving. There's a person who, turning away from desire for household life, takes to the life of the forest, becomes a monk. But after being freed from the household, they run back to it. Look at that person. Though freed, they run back to that very bondage. This is a play on words, as vana can mean desire or forest. Those who are infatuated with lust fall back into the swirling current of repeated existence, samsara, like a spider on its self-spun web. This too the wise cut off. Without any longing, they abandon all suffering and renounce the world. Let go of the past, let go of the future, let go of the present. Cross over to the farther shore of existence. With your mind wholly liberated, you shall come no more to birth and death. For a person tormented by evil thoughts, who is dominated by passion and always chasing pleasure, their craving steadily grows. They make the fetter, chain, strong indeed. But the person who delights in taming evil thoughts, who meditates on the impurities of the body to reduce attachment, and is always mindful, it is they who will make an end of craving and break Mara's, negativity's fetter. The person who has reached the goal is fearless, free from craving, passionless, and has plucked out the thorns of existence. For them, this is the last body, last life. A person who is free from craving and attachment is perfect in understanding the true meaning of the teachings and knows the correct order of the sacred texts. That person, indeed, is the bearer of their final body. They are truly called the profoundly wise one, the great person. Buddha says, "I am a victor over all. I have known all. Yet I am unattached to all that is conquered and known. Abandoning all, I am freed through the destruction of craving. Having understood all this directly by myself, whom shall I call my teacher?" Meaning, he was self-enlightened. The gift of Dhamma, truth, is better than all other gifts. The taste of Dhamma is better than all other tastes. The delight in Dhamma is better than all other delights. The person, freed from craving, conquers all suffering. Riches ruin only foolish people, not those who are looking for something beyond. By craving for riches, the foolish person ruins themselves as well as others. Weeds are bad for fields. Lust is bad for humankind. Therefore, what is offered to those free of lust brings abundant good results. Weeds are bad for fields. Hatred is bad for humankind. Therefore, what is offered to those free of hatred brings abundant good results. Weeds are bad for fields. Delusion or confusion is bad for humankind. Therefore, what is offered to those free of delusion brings abundant good results. Weeds are bad for fields. Desire is bad for humankind. Therefore, what is offered to those free of desire brings abundant good results. Chapter 25. The Peaceful Wanderer. The Monk. It's good to have restraint over your eyes. It's good to have restraint over your ears. It's good to have restraint over your nose. It's good to have restraint over your tongue. It's good to have restraint in your body. It's good to have restraint in your speech. It's good to have restraint in your thoughts. Restraint everywhere is good. The monk or dedicated practitioner who is restrained in every way is freed from all suffering. The person who has control over their hands, feet, and tongue, who is fully controlled, delights in inner development, is absorbed in meditation, keeps to themselves, and is contented. That's who people call a monk. That monk who has control over their tongue, speaks moderately, is unassuming, and explains the teachings in both letter, words, and spirit, meaning, whatever they say is pleasing. The monk who lives in the Dhamma, truth, delights in the Dhamma, meditates on the Dhamma, and remembers the Dhamma well, they do not fall away from the sublime Dhamma. You shouldn't look down on what you have received, nor should you envy what others have. The monk who envies what others have does not achieve deep meditative states. A monk who does not look down on what they have received, even if it's little, who lives a pure life and tries hard without stopping, even the gods praise such a person. The person who has no attachment whatsoever to their mind and body, and who does not grieve for what they don't have, that person is truly called a monk. The monk who lives with universal love and is deeply devoted to the teaching of the Buddha achieves the peace of nirvana, the happiness of the ending of all conditioned, changing things. Empty this boat, O monk. The boat is your body-mind filled with defilements. When emptied, it will sail lightly. Get rid of lust and hatred, and you shall reach nirvana. Cut off the 5 lower fetters like self-illusion, doubt, etc. Abandon the 5 higher fetters like craving for heavenly realms, conceit, etc. And cultivate the 5 spiritual faculties like faith, energy, mindfulness, etc. The monk who has overcome the 5 bonds like greed, hatred, delusion is called one who has crossed the flood of suffering. Meditate, O monk. Don't be careless. Don't let your mind whirl around in sensual pleasures. If you're careless, don't swallow a red-hot iron ball, a metaphor for painful consequences, only to cry out when burning, "Oh, this is painful." There's no deep meditative concentration for someone who lacks insight, and no insight for someone who lacks meditative concentration. But the person in whom both meditative concentration and insight are found is indeed close to nirvana. The monk who has gone to a quiet place, calmed their mind, and understands the Dhamma with insight. In them arises a delight that is greater than all human delights. Whenever they see with insight how the aggregates, the parts that make up a person, body, feelings, perceptions, mental formations, consciousness, arise and fall, they are full of joy and happiness. For the discerning person, this reflects the deathless nirvana, control of the senses, contentment, and restraint according to the code of monastic discipline. These form the basis of a holy life here for the wise monk. Let them associate with friends who are noble, energetic, and pure in life. Let them be friendly and refined in their conduct. In this way, full of joy, they will make an end of suffering. Just as the jasmine creeper sheds its withered flowers, you too, O monks, should completely shed lust and hatred. The monk who is calm in body, calm in speech, calm in thought, well composed, and has spewed out rejected worldliness, that person is truly called serene, peaceful. By yourself, you must gently criticize yourself and examine yourself. The self-guarded and mindful monk will always live in happiness. You are your own protector. You are your own refuge. Therefore, you should control yourself, just as a trader controls a noble horse. Full of joy, full of faith in the teaching of the Buddha, the monk attains the peaceful state, the happiness of the ending of all conditioned things. That monk who, while young, devotes themselves to the teaching of the Buddha, lights up this world like the moon when it's freed from clouds. Chapter 26. The truly pure person, the holy man Brahmana. Try hard, O holy man. Cut off the stream of craving and get rid of sense desires. Knowing the destruction of all conditioned changing things, become, O holy man, the knower of the uncreate, nirvana, that which is not made and doesn't change. When a holy man has reached the top of two paths, meditative concentration and insight, they know the truth, and all their fetters, chains, fall away. The person for whom there is neither this shore, our senses and self, nor the other shore, objects of senses and the world, nor yet both, who is free of cares and is unchained, that's who I call a holy man. A person who is meditative, stainless, pure, and settled, whose work on the path is done, who is free from inner cankers, defilements, and has reached the highest goal, that's who I call a holy man. The sun shines by day, the moon shines by night. The warrior shines in armor, the holy man shines in meditation. But the Buddha shines dazzlingly all day and all night. Because they have discarded evil, they are called a holy man. Because they are serene, peaceful in conduct, they are called a recluse, one who lives apart. And because they have renounced their impurities, they are called a renunciate. One should not strike a holy man, nor should a holy man, when struck, give way to anger. Shame on the one who strikes a holy man, and more shame on the one holy man who gives way to anger. Nothing is better for a holy man than when he holds his mind back from what is endearing, things that cause attachment. To the extent that the intent to harm wears away, to that extent suffering subsides. The person who does no evil in deed, actions, word, speech, or thought, who is restrained in these three ways, that's who I call a holy man. Just as a Brahmin priest of the old tradition reveres his sacrificial fire, you too should devoutly revere the person from whom you have learned the Dhamma, truth, taught by the Buddha. Not by matted hair, nor by family lineage, nor by birth does one become a holy man, but the person in whom truth and righteousness exist, they are pure, they are a holy man. What's the use of your matted hair, O witless man? What about your garment of antelope's hide? Signs of some ascetics. Inside you is a tangle of passion. you're only cleaning yourself on the outside. The person who wears a robe made of rags, who is lean, with veins showing all over their body, and who meditates alone in the forest, that's who I call a holy man. I do not call someone a holy man just because of their family line or high-born mother. If they are full of impeding attachments, they are just a proud and snobbish person. But someone who is free from attachments and clinging, that's who I call a holy man. A person who, having cut off all fetters, chains, trembles no more, who has overcome all attachments and is emancipated, freed, that's who I call a holy man. A person who has cut off the thong of hatred, the band of craving, and the rope of false views, along with their accessories, latent bad tendencies, who has removed the crossbar of ignorance and is enlightened, that's who I call a holy man. The person who, without resentment, endures abuse, beating, and punishment, whose power, real strength, is patience, that's who I call a holy man. A person who is free from anger, is devout, virtuous, without craving, self-subdued, and bears their final body, last life, that's who I call a holy man. Like water on a lotus leaf, or a mustard seed on the point of a needle, the person who does not cling to sensual pleasures, that's who I call a holy man. A person who in this very life realizes for themselves the end of suffering, who has laid aside the burden and become emancipated, freed, that's who I call a holy man. The person who has profound knowledge, who is wise, skilled in knowing the right path from the wrong path, and has reached the highest goal, that's who I call a holy man. A person who keeps away from both householders' ordinary life and ascetics, extreme practices, who wanders about with no fixed home and has few wants, that's who I call a holy man. A person who has given up violence towards all living beings, weak or strong, who neither kills nor causes others to kill, that's who I call a holy man. A person who is friendly amidst the hostile, peaceful amidst the violent, and unattached amidst the attached, that's who I call a holy man. A person whose lust, hatred, pride, and hypocrisy have fallen off like a mustard seed from the point of a needle, that's who I call a holy man. A person who utters gentle, instructive, and truthful words, who criticizes no one, that's who I call a holy man. The person who in this world takes nothing that is not given to them, whether it's long or short, small or big, good or bad, that's who I call a holy man. The person who wants nothing from either this world or the next, who is desire-free and emancipated, freed, that's who I call a holy man. A person who has no attachment, who through perfect knowledge is free from doubts and is plunged into the deathless nirvana, that's who I call a holy man. A person who in this world has gone beyond the ties of both merit, good karma looking for reward, and demerit, bad karma, who is sorrowless, stainless, pure, and pure, that's who I call a holy man. The person who, like the moon, is spotless and pure, serene and clear, who has destroyed the delight in existence, that's who I call a holy man. The person who, having traveled through this muddy, dangerous, and delusive round of existence, has crossed over and reached the other shore, who is meditative, calm, free from doubt, and clinging to nothing, has attained nirvana, that's who I call a holy man. The person who, having abandoned sensual pleasures, has renounced the household life and become a homeless one, has destroyed both sensual desire and the desire for continued existence, that's who I call a holy man. A person who, having abandoned craving, has renounced the household life and become a homeless one, has destroyed both craving and the desire for continued existence, that's who I call a holy man. A person who, casting off human bonds and going beyond heavenly ties, is wholly delivered from all bondages, that's who I call a holy man. A person who, having cast off likes and dislikes, has become tranquil, is rid of the foundations of existence that cause rebirth, and like a hero has conquered all the worlds, that's who I call a holy man. The person who in every way knows the death and rebirth of all beings and is totally detached, blessed, and enlightened, That's who I call a holy man. The person whose track no gods, no angels, no humans can trace. The Arahant, fully enlightened one, who has destroyed all cankers, defilements. That's who I call a holy man. A person who clings to nothing of the past, present, or future, who has no attachment and holds on to nothing. That's who I call a holy man. That person, the noble, the excellent, the heroic, the great sage, the conqueror, the passionless, the pure, the enlightened one. That's who I call a holy man. A person who knows their former births, who sees heaven and hell, who has reached the end of births and achieved the perfection of insight. The sage who has reached the summit of spiritual excellence. That's who I call a holy man. A light of wisdom. Closing reflections. As you reflect on these verses, remember that the Dhammapada's wisdom is timeless. The path to inner peace it describes is not distant, but available in each moment. May these teachings inspire mindfulness and guide your actions.